Hi everybody, welcome to the Empowering Health YouTube channel. It's Linda DeCourcy here. Thanks so much for joining me today. I appreciate you tuning in. Today I'm going to be talking about butter, another traditional food that has been much maligned in recent decades. It's interesting how traditional foods that have been used for thousands of years have been blamed for modern health problems. We have all these modern health problems we didn't really have up until the last 50, 60, 70 years, and we're blaming traditional foods for them when really the modern foods are the problem. So butter is a traditional food. In India, ghee is considered a sacred food. So ghee is just butter with the protein. There's about 20% protein in butter. Ghee is protein. Ghee is butter with the protein removed, so it is a sacred healing food. It's considered that in India, and it's been used all over the world, depending on the mammal of choice. It would be cow or sheep or goat or buffalo or other animals that lactate and produce milk. So generally what I'm talking about here is cow's milk butter, because that's the one that we're used to. That's the one that we in Ireland mainly drink and mainly eat and mainly use. But you can also obviously get butter from other, as I said, other mammals. So it's an amazingly complex food. So one of the interesting things about modern nutrition advice is to stay away from saturated fat. And it's like saturated fat is this big lump that's getting into your system. It's this one big whole, evil thing that's going to get into your system, clog all your arteries and do damage wherever it goes. But actually saturated fat is not just one fat. In butter, for example, there are at least 8 different types of saturated fatty acids. So all fatty acids have different numbers of carbon atoms on their chain. They all perform different functions in the body. So butter has at least 8 of these. It's a very complex fat, actually. It's got lots of different functions that it does, which we'll go through in a minute. So it's amazing food. So saturated fat is not just one fatty acid that's going in, and its one job is to cause problems. It's actually, as I said, it's comprised of many different types of individual fatty acids. You have short chain, you have medium chain, and you have long chain fatty acids, and you also have saturated, monounsaturated, like olive oil and avocado. They contain a lot of monounsaturated fatty acids, and then you have your polyunsaturated fatty acids, which are your long chain fatty acids. So they are generally sunflower oil. They're quite high in seed oils. The omega-3, DHA, and EPA are also long-chain fatty acids. So some of them are good for us, and some of them are not so good for us. Some of them we want to reduce the amount that we take in. And even things like DHA and EPA, you find them in small amounts in butter from grass-fed animals, and you do only need small amounts. You don't need large amounts of the omega-3 fatty acids. You just need small amounts. So butter also contains, again, butter from grass-fed cows. So here in Ireland, we get to eat butter from cows that have been grazing on grass, because thankfully all our cows are still on grass. In many countries of the world, that's simply not the case. And I know when you go to the continent on holidays, like, the butter is white and it's pale and it's pasty, and it's totally different to the butter that we eat here. So the more golden the butter, the better it is for you, because it's more nutrient rich. It's got more vitamins like vitamin A and vitamin D, and it's obvious from the color of the butter how much time the cows have been out grazing on grass. So we want butter that's more golden. You'll notice as well in the summer, if you ever observe, that the butter that we eat in the summertime is generally a deeper yellow than the butter in the wintertime, because cows will be indoors and fed on hay, whereas in the summer they're outside. So the butter in the summer is of a higher quality, but still, obviously, if it's coming from cows that have been outside most of the year and they're just getting hay for a few months of the year, it's still a really, really good food. So there's 2 vitamins, 2 fat soluble vitamins that are found in butter. Well, there's a few more, but I want to focus on 2 today. So vitamins D and A. So most of us are aware of vitamin D. Most of us are aware that it's really important for our immune health, for our mental health. So if you get a cold, sometimes people will take a vitamin D supplement, or if they're feeling low, and a lot of times people get a bit low, their mood gets low, they feel a bit low and depressed in the winter time, because we're away from the sunshine, and vitamin D is synthesized by the action of sunlight on our skin in association with cholesterol. So vitamin D is really important for these things as well. But it's also really important to get vitamin A as well. So vitamin D is one of the fat soluble vitamins. There's four. There's A, D, E, and K. Vitamin D is just one of them. We also need to get vitamin A as well. And vitamin A has been given a bit of a bad rap because there were a few studies done quite a long time ago where high doses of vitamin A and retinol were given in isolation to different groups of people, and very, very high doses of anything in isolation really is not good for you. So, but vitamin A in conjunction with vitamin D in a food like butter is actually is very therapeutic and very beneficial. It's really important for respiratory health, so to help lung function. So it's really important to help our lungs function properly. It's really important for our skin. It's important for our eyesight. We all know that, carrots can rabbits can see in the dark because they eat carrots. But that's so it's the similar principle that we need to eat some vitamin A to help our eyesight and also reproductive health. So, regardless of whether you want to have kids or have had kids or whatever, but to keep your hormones in balance, vitamin A is really important for that. And the amazing thing about vitamin A and vitamin D is they're very often, almost always, found together in nature most of the time, like in egg, cod liver oil, in egg yolks, and in butter and in dairy products. You will find vitamin A and vitamin D together because they work synergistically, and they can work antagonistically as well, but they should be eaten as much as possible together. So taking vitamin D or vitamin A in isolation is generally not really a good thing, but butter is a good source of these two soluble vitamins. Butter also contains something called conjugated linoleic acid, which you can actually buy in a supplement in some pharmacies, but you don't need to buy it as a supplement. You can just eat it. It actually helps to burn fat around your waist. So if you carry excess fat around your waist, there's a fatty acid, conjugated linoleic acid, so acid being part of the fatty acid, and that actually helps you burn fat around your waist, and it also helps you it's also protective against cancer. So CLA has been found to be protective against some cancer. So it's again found in butter naturally, butter from cows or other ruminant animals that have been that graze on grass. So it's really important that the butter is of good quality, that we do make sure that we source butter. Again, not so much of an issue in Ireland, but if you're watching this and you're outside Ireland, then it's important that you make sure that your butter comes from grass-fed cows. And then, as I said, so there's about 8 different types of fatty acids in butter. I'm just going to go through them quickly, and some of the functions that they do, and the things that they do in the body, some of their functions in the body. So the first one is butyric acid. So butyric acid is called butyric acid because it was initially found in butter. It's a short chain fatty acid. It's really important for your intestinal health, so for your digestive function. So many people nowadays have IBS, of some form, they're bloating and just kind of feeling unwell in their digestive system, in their small intestine and in their large intestine. And butyric acid actually helps to kind of calm that down. It nourishes your intestinal cells. It's actually a source of food for your intestinal cells. It will reduce any inflammation that there might be in your gastrointestinal tract. So it's an amazingly calming, therapeutic food. It also provides energy for your cells and energy for cells in your bowel. So it works the whole way through the digestive system. It's a really, really important food. So there's also caprylic acid. Caprylic acid actually is an antiviral and antifungal fatty acid. So a lot of these fatty acids, and it's amazing, fat has been so maligned so often in kind of a lot of nutritional advice, but actually the fatty acids found in things like butter and other animal products, they actually have various components that protect against viruses and pathogens, bacteria and fungi. So the pathogenic viruses, bacteria and fungi, and we want to be eating a good amount of these things like butter, because when we do that, we actually receive kind of like a little antiviral fatty acid, we receive antifungal fatty acids, and we receive antibacterial fatty acids, and they help keep our body strong. So they help us when we encounter a pathogen, any dodgy bacteria or virus that is out there. Again, particularly important at the moment that we are eating foods that actually support our immune system and help to combat any pathogenic bacteria or virus or fungus that is out there. So caprylic acid inhibits the growth of yeast and bacteria, and it's also an antiviral. Then you have lauric acid, which also disables pathogens and it prevents the buildup of plaque. So isn't that amazing? A fatty acid found in butter helps to build up, helps to prevent, sorry, doesn't build up, helps to prevent the buildup of plaque in your arteries. Myrtic acid, it is important for supports the metabolism of essential functions in the body. So it helps keep your energy up, helps keep your metabolism at an optimal level, and it stabilizes cellular protein. So again, helps to function, helps to keep the cells functioning properly. It's really important that our cells are able to function properly and get toxins out of the cells, get nutrients into the cells, and you actually need fatty acids, particularly saturated fatty acids, to keep the cell walls nice and healthy and nice and stable. Palmitic acid, so there's 26% of the fatty acids in butter. It's comprised of palmitic acid. It's a very important acid. It makes up a large portion of a lipoprotein complex that's active on the surface of the lungs. And what that actually does is it supports the ability of your lungs to expand. So it helps you inhale, but it also helps you as you exhale. It prevents your lungs from collapsing, because we obviously don't want that to happen. So the saturated fatty acid that's actually found in butter and other things as well, but butter is, as I said, contains an awful lot of it. It actually helps your lungs to function better. So along with the vitamin A, which is important for respiratory health, you're getting two very important components of improved lung function. So again, with everything that's going around with the virus that's around at the moment, and lung function is often compromised. So eating butter as well as salt actually helps to improve the function of your lungs and helps to support optimal lung function, which I think is pretty cool. So yeah, so there's some of the fatty acids found in butter. And so, you know, the next time someone tells you, you know, butter is bad for you, it's a saturated fat, you know, remember that it's not just one saturated fat, isn't just one thing. It's a complex of fatty acids, and all of them are vital. All of them play a role, a various role, different bits. They do different bits. They do different perform different functions, and they all work together in synergy to keep us healthy. So enjoy your butter. You know, enjoy your butter with your salt. If you like to, you know, your vegetables, put it on your vegetables. If you want to get your kids to eat vegetables, give them some salt and butter with their vegetables. Put it on your bread, lash it onto your bread, put it on your potatoes, cook with butter. You can use it, you know, 3 times a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You're never going to overdo it, but make sure it's good quality butter. Anyway, thanks so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed that. If you would like some more real food information to empower you to, you know, be more healthy, because I want to give you information that will empower you to take control of your health and to learn how to be healthier and feel better. And it's, you know, when we feel healthy, we feel better. The day is generally nicer when we're not in pain, or our digestive system is working properly, and all these sort of things. So feel free to subscribe, hit the subscribe button if you would like more of these little tidbits on food and nutrition and health. Thanks so much for listening and watching today, and I'll see you again soon.